So amid Hunter's ongoing scandals, Biden is going soft on China. He hasn't done jack crap. And wait till I give you the evidence of it, folks. You're going to lose your crap. I'm sorry. I know it's Tuesday. I'm not looking to piss you off. But look, we're all in this together. It's like that song from High School Musical. We're all in this together. I don't sing. I apologize. So it took a certain bloodless goose path for the president to place his scandal-ridden son front and center at the White House function last week. Hunter Biden, age 52, popped up at Thursday's Medal of Freedom ceremony to glad hand a network from his front row perch, even as he awaits indictment by a grand jury in Delaware over his shady foreign business dealings, most lucratively in China. Where's all the investigative journalists about this? Remember, like, Bob Woodward is still chauffeured out and trotted out for freaking Watergate like 40 or 50 years ago. And you have no investigative journalism coming out on this, going, hey, this is what I found. Here are the documents. This is the stuff that we released. Like, everything's leaked and put on like 4chan. You have like these outlets, people that didn't even go to school for journalism, that are doing these other careers, are doing more journalism than actual journalists are nowadays. It is freaking mind-blowing. Just one day earlier, you had the FBI director, Christopher Wray, and his British MI5 counterpart. Well, they made an appearance together, which hardly ever happens, and they talked about how that there's serious security and economic threats that are being posed by China. Now, this isn't anything new. We as America have known this, where they're aiming to steal our intellectual property and basically corrupt our politics, and it's not just coming from China, but it's also coming from Russia. So also on Wednesday, you had U.S. intelligence officials issuing a bulletin to state and local officials where they are warning of an escalating campaign by China to manipulate and influence politicians, push Washington for China-friendly policies. This isn't anything new, but the purpose that we need to bring all of this up is nothing's being done by President Joe Biden on China. Biden has gone soft on China literally since he became president, and honestly, even before he was president. You had this done with Barack Obama as well, being soft on China and also being soft on Iran, which is why we got the Iran nuclear deal as complete garbage, and Trump talked about it. To put in perspective, Thomas Sowell, who doesn't really talk shit on anybody, thinks that Barack Obama is the worst president in U.S. history because of that deal. And you have Joe Biden now handling our foreign affairs with everybody and trying to negotiate currently a new deal with Iran. It's not going to happen. If this guy runs our foreign policy any way that he runs his domestic policy, we're in trouble. We're in big trouble. So here are a few examples of how he's gone soft. This first one, you're going to fall over in your seat, folks. So either stand up or be prepared here, because you're going to be going, how is this not being investigated by Congress? Who's not? Why is nobody looking into this? Like, who's not into this whole aspect of what Hunter Biden's doing? So he diverted at least 1 million barrels of oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. We've talked about that, and you go, yeah, I heard about this, Brad, whatever. But he sent it to Chinese state-owned gas giant Sinopec, which Hunter had invested in through his 10% stake in Chinese private equity firm BHR. It just somehow slipped into the hands of Hunter Biden's private business equity firm BHR. Just so happened to just fall on their lap. 1 million barrels. Nothing from the Democrat Party. Nothing from Congress. All cool with it. Can you just imagine if this was one of Trump's kids? He also disbanded the China Initiative, a national security program set by the Trump administration to combat China's economic espionage at universities and research institutions. Remember that whole thing under Trump? He was talking about how these people were coming in and basically committing economic espionage, and they're within our universities and our institutions. And in some way, shape, or form, sometimes they were even getting their tuition paid for. But I was like, hey, it's fine. You can create espionage, take our property, it's fine. Take all our research that we're doing here. It's just so baffling. That's why I think he's in the pocket of the Chinese. The Chinese have some dirt on him and Hunter, I'm telling you. Has to be. He revoked Trump-era restrictions against TikTok, instead promising a national security review, as if that's going to do anything. A national security review. This almost sounds like, again, the Iran nuclear deal. I understand they're two vastly different things, but it was like the whole idea of like, hey, would you just let us come in and like kind of take a little peek-see at you every once in a while? We'll make sure we give you like a month notice that we're coming so you can clean up everything and make sure that we won't find it. And then we want to come in and just do a little bit of a peek and review. Will you be okay with that? That's the type of stuff they want to do here, but with a national security review, which has led to no action for over a year. Nothing's been done with it. This is just their fancy way of like doing stuff to appease the Chinese. The world's fastest growing social media platform, owned by the Chinese company BitDance, reportedly has repeatedly accessed U.S. users' private personal data. Now, to make you feel a little bit better, the Chinese, I believe it was a Chinese government or some institution in China recently did get hacked where like 1 billion people's data did get released. So there is that, but it's not good when they're having access to US users' private personal data and what they might be doing with it. Furthermore, in another unwinding of hard-line Trump policies, the Biden administration granted the Chinese tech giants Huawei a license to purchase chips used in automobile manufacturing, Reuters reported last year. So a lot of you might be thinking, well, who cares? It's just automated chips, doesn't matter. The problem with this is, one, he's licensing these chips that are used in auto manufacturing to the Chinese, which shouldn't be allowed, especially everything they've done with COVID-19, and that he hasn't pressed on anything in terms of the origin of COVID-19, which we all feel it's coming out from the Wuhan virus or did come out from the Wuhan lab. But I have to be careful with how I say this because we'll be removed off YouTube. YouTube's basically in the pocket of China, I feel like, as well, along with like the NBA, right? With LeBron James. Everybody's in the pocket of China because China buys a lot of crap from the United States. Also, the purpose of the chip thing is there's been rumors out there that the Chinese have either developed or are trying to develop certain spy methods of implanting them in our chips and then sending them to the United States so they could spy and steal our intellectual property that way as well. So a lot of problems coming with China here, and Joe Biden's just not cognizant of it, or he is cognizant and he's just corrupt, or all of the above, and he's in the hand of or in the pockets of China and doesn't want anything being revealed about Hunter Biden's business dealings. He also suspended tariffs on Chinese solar panels, and he repeatedly is contemplating lifting further Trump tariffs against Chinese imports for no discernible benefit, by the way. Like, no discernible benefit to America. We have economists literally warning that any effect on soaring inflation would be minimal and short-lived. Basically, it's not going to do anything, so why do it in the first place? But this is the stuff he's going to push. And it's weird, right? It's weird. You send 1 million barrels, you're removing all these Trump things they put in place to, in some way, shape, or form, protect Americans, whether it's somebody in China trying to, do espionage or trying to take our intellectual property or whatever it may be. Trump put in place aspects that are supposed to protect us and our privacy, and Biden's like, you can have it all, who cares? So it's astonishing that such egregious concessions are even being contemplated while China has become Vladimir Putin's top financier in the war on Ukraine by buying discounted Russian oil and thus allowing the Kremlin to withstand Western sanctions. This malfeasance to China adds to well-founded concerns that Joe Biden is compromised by the Chinese Communist Party, given all the evidence on Hunter Biden's laptop about millions of dollars that flowed from China to his son and brother, Jim Biden. You know what's funny? You know where that quote comes from, that paragraph I just read? The New York Post. The New York Post. It's like embedded within there, right? I mean, I don't even know how. I'm like halfway through the page and it's just embedded there in a paragraph of like, this is a malfeasance. This is like some corruption stuff. They found all this stuff on Joe Biden's laptop. It's funny because I was just told everything that was just posted right there that I read. I was told the other day by Karine Jean-Pierre that, this is just alleged material. Remember when Peter Doocy asked that question? And she was like, I don't answer those types of questions on the podium here, Peter. I don't talk about alleged stuff that may or may not have been from the laptop. It's like, it's literally, we can see it, lady. We can see it on the freaking internet. You have your own outlets that massage your shoulders and rub your own president's feet every day, coming out saying, look, a lot of stuff's coming out. This is pretty bad. So to be fair, Biden deserves praise for his involvement in both AUKUS, and hopefully I pronounced that right, the Trilateral Security Pact forged last year between Australia, the United Kingdom, and the US, and a bunch of other people. It does help a little bit, so you have to give credit where credit is due. But other than that, I mean, that is really it. It's basically nothing. And I'm telling you, this article just goes on and on and on about the investments, about all the things that Hunter Biden did, things that continually get unraveled from this guy. And where is Congress? How many investigations have we had on Trump? The Russia Gate, which was nothing. It was a nothing burger, all smoke, no fire. We went through that for 4 years. You have this January 6th committee hearing that literally had Hutchinson come out and say that Trump tried to take over the Beast, the limousine or SUV, either which one he was in, I don't know. But he also assaulted a Secret Service member. And that happened, like 2 weeks ago? I would like to point out that the Secret Service came out like yesterday and said, they haven't called us. They don't want any information from us. when they literally have already come out. The Secret Service said, yeah, none of this happened. It didn't happen the way that she explained it. It's not real. It's fake news. But they don't want to portray that. By the way, they knew that. The Congress, that committee knew that. They already had all this information beforehand, but they still wanted to trot this lady out and call an emergency hearing to do that kind of damage. They won't call an emergency hearing. They won't do anything in here. They don't want to investigate this on a federal level. Nothing, because it's Joe Biden. It's the Democrat Party. The everybody at the levels of the FBI and everybody else is all part of that party. They want to sit there and just have complete corruption. And I fully believe it. I fully believe it. When we had Trey Gowdy of I believe it was South Carolina, and we also had Jason Chaffetz of Utah in Congress. Those are like the last two guys I had full like confidence in and trust. And they both left because they saw how corrupt it was and how nobody wanted to make any change for the better. And so they got out. And the books that they wrote, specifically Jason Chaffetz on the deep state, is going to blow your mind if you guys read it. Again, it's called The Deep State by Jason Chaffetz. And just go ahead and read everything that he put in there in terms of going to different countries. And you got these suits from America trying to block him. Mind you, he's the chairman of the government oversight committee. Basically has clearance on almost all levels. And they try and stop him on certain aspects, especially dealing with Benghazi with Hillary Clinton. That was a nothing burger as well in terms of them trying to do all of that. It's just, we can go on for hours on the corruption of our own government, trying to stop certain things, but then only target the Republican and conservatives, i.e. Barack Obama utilizing the IRS to do audits on the freaking conservatives and Republicans. I was in accounting at that point in my time. I remember very specifically that taking down, and we were all baffled and we couldn't believe that the IRS was willing to do something like that on Obama's behalf. And then what he did, oh, I don't know anything about this. I don't know anything about this. It's like you have emails from your own Attorney General Eric Holder that talked about this to you. What do you mean you don't know anything about it? But folks, we can go on for hours with it. There you have it. You have Joe Biden continuing his manipulation, utilizing Karine Jean-Pierre to do it on the podium. You got freaking these kids harassing police officers, punching at them, cursing at them, really showing the tear in our social fabric and where our country is just going at down the drain. And then you also have them trying to push this whole COVID-19 thing, which, you know, already preparing for the midterms, and then going to blame the oil companies as well as the gas stations on their prices in terms of what they're doing at the pump or at the retail price level in terms of selling gas, even though they're trying to prepare for the worst after they just took billions of dollars of losses and are maybe trying to compensate for the aspect of, hell, we might be shut down again. You know, we don't know what's going to happen in the future. There's a lot of risk involved. We should capitalize on this while we can without actually making things extremely worse for the American public, because they could really hike up the prices if they wanted to, but they want to make war with everybody other than China here. They don't want to make war with, because a lot of us, including clearly the leftist media outlet, think that Joe Biden's in China's pocket there. So, folks, I hope you enjoyed this episode here on this Tuesday, July 12th. Head over to Amazon, get those deals. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you later here on The Bald Brad Show. I hope you enjoyed that clip from The Bald Brad Show. If you did, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all our future content.